A Wampanoag Riddle. I am the shape of all things given by the Creator. I have no beginning and no end. I am the shape of life itself. What am I? A circle. Wampanoag means people of the first light. Mom says our people have lived here on our homeland for over 12,000 years. Even though my family and other Wampanoag live in modern houses, we still hunt and fish as we always have. We continue our traditional ways and give thanks during each season. Oral history is important to my people. From oral history, we know that Maswat attended the harvest celebration in 1621. Our job is to discover what life was like for the Maswat people in 1621. How did they give thanks? Let's click on each stone and listen.
In our winter village, we have many long, narrow houses. Our house has 2 fire hearths with 2 families living together. My dad and uncles built our house frame very carefully. It's covered with the bark of huge trees, so it's sturdy enough to support the wintertime snow. My mother says that the round shape of our house helps to keep us all warm. Sometimes it's too hot inside, so we go out and jump into the snow.
Grandfather is sitting by the warm fire inside our house. He and the others are telling stories that they, too, were told as children. The stories are entertaining and I laugh a lot, but Grandfather reminds me to pay special attention to these spoken words. Someday I, too, will recite the same words to my own children, and then they will teach their children. This is how we keep our history of our families, villages, and nation alive. Tisquantum visits the English often. He took pity on them because they did not know how to plant. He showed them how to put fish into the ground, mound up the earth, and plant the corn seed. In the summer, their corn will grow tall.
Our Wampanoag New Year takes place in spring with a celebration. We thank the Creator for all life. We thank Mother Earth for her gifts and celebrate all new beginnings. Together we give prayers and give thanks through songs and dances. Then we share our foods and have a small feast. Before planting in the spring, my family gives thankful prayers to Mother Earth who grows all our food. My daughter and I dig holes, and some years use herring fish for fertilizer. We cover the fish with soft earth and make mounds. After a few weeks, we plant 4 or 5 corn kernels in each mound. Later, beans and squashes are planted alongside the corn.
Our storage pits are dug into the ground and lined with stones and bulrush mats. We store our corn in very large, woven bags for winter use. We also store seed for spring planting. When the English first came here, they dug up and took corn bags away from a family's storage pit. To us Wampanoag, stealing is a crime.
It is the strawberry harvest time. My family, neighbors gather to celebrate, give thanks together. We give prayers, feast, dance, play games. Games such as football have more of a purpose than fun. We often play them to settle an argument between people or families. Celebrations can last a few days.
During the summer months, my mother and father paddle our family out into the ocean in our large dugout machine. We travel to Kapawak and Nantucket and visit our friends along the way. We fish from our mashunash too. This is my favorite way to travel to many different Wampanoag villages.
One time, at the Fall of the Leaf, my father and uncle and many of our men joined with Massasoit and went to the Weetawash of the English. My family thought it might be dangerous because we had heard much shooting of English guns. As it happened, our people were welcomed. They stayed there for 3 days. My sons and I hunt mostly in the fall and winter months because by this time baby birds and animals are grown. The meat and furs are better in the colder weather. We hunt deer, turkey, beaver, and many others. I teach my children that it is important to have respect for the lives of these beings and to give thanks to them and the Creator.
Soon after harvesting and gathering our foods, my family rolls up the mats on our warm weather house. With the help of tump lines worn over our foreheads, we carry the mats on our backs to our inland village. In the valleys and forests we will stay warmer, protected from the cold winter winds.
Our relative the deer gives us many gifts. My brother now hunts and brings the deer to my mother and I to clean and skin. We will smoke and dry the meat so it will last. One deer can feed a family for a long time. To be given a deer is a great gift. In the 1500s, there were over 50,000 Wampanoag. Today, we number over 4,000. We are still here. We still continue to teach our children the oral history of our families and our villages and our nation. Now, a circle is an unbroken line, and the circle on this page is symbolic of connections. We are all connected to the earth and to each other.
Wampanoag today still rely on oral history, a tradition that is centuries old. These traditions have been carried on to this day, and much is passed on by the oral stories with Wampanoag families. Specifically, there seems to be no known oral record of the 1621 harvest celebration, but it is an event that would likely have been of importance as shown by the visit of Massasoit and his family.
'17th century English riddle. What is higher than a house, yet smaller than a mouse? A star. A star? In the 17th century, people looked at the world differently than we do. They didn't realize that the stars are actually huge. A 9-year-old girl named Remember Allerton was at the 1621 harvest celebration. She's my ancestor. This is what historians think her village, called Plymouth Plantation, looked like. What did Remember and her family do at the harvest celebration? No one knows for sure, but historians use every bit of information that they have to make their best guesses. Our job is to make our best guesses about some of the decisions Remember and her neighbors made. Let's explore the picture of Remember's village. When we find Remember's house, we'll click to go inside. New England looked very different from England. There were more forests and different plants and animals. The colonists were frightened by this wild place and by the native people that lived there. At the time of the harvest celebration, there were about 7 houses in Plymouth Colony. At Plymouth Plantation, you can visit a recreation of Plymouth Colony. This picture shows what historians think Plymouth Colony looked like in the summer of 1621. Every family had a garden in which they grew vegetables and some plants for medicine. The fences kept farm animals, like goats and pigs, out of the garden. Remember lives in this house. We'll click here to go inside. Welcome, come in. My name is Remember. I live here with my father, my older brother Bartholomew, and my little sister Mary. Mom died last winter. Almost half the people in our town died then. It has been a most difficult year, but we have had a fair harvest and Governor Bradford has called for a celebration. You can touch the objects in my house. When you touch some of them, I'll tell you what they are. When you touch others, you can help me make a decision. Father uses this musket to hunt. Captain Standish also has the men practice marching and shooting so they can defend the town if we should be attacked. Mary and I sleep on this bed. At night we lay it upon the floor and put sheets, blankets, and pillows upon it. I use this chamber pot to relieve myself during the night. In the morning, I empty it onto the street. This is Father's bedstead. At night, Father draws the bed curtains closed when he goes to sleep. I keep my sewing things, like needles and thread, in this basket. I am making Mary a puppet that she can play with. Mom brought these pewter dishes from England. There are no such shops in New England to buy such things. Let's help remember make some decisions. The English colonists entertained Massasoit and his men for 3 days. What kinds of entertainment did Remember see? Military displays, football, parades on television, or dancing?
Huzzah! Well done!
Remember saw military displays. Yes, this is, in fact, the only entertainment that historians know for sure took place in 1621. Governor Bradford wants the colony to celebrate its first harvest. How will Remember and her neighbors celebrate? Yikes, that's not the right answer.
Huzzah! Well done!
Oh. Remember and her neighbors celebrated by feasting and playing games. This is just what happened in 1621. One of the best things about celebrating a harvest is the food. What will Remember eat at the harvest celebration in 1621?
Well done, child!
Remember will eat wild fowl, venison, which is deer, corn, and pumpkin at the harvest celebration in 1621. These are the foods that historians believe were eaten at the 1621 harvest celebration. There is a lot to do during the 3 days of the harvest celebration. What kind of things will Remember and her siblings, Bartholomew and Mary, do?
Well done, child!
They will spend most of their time doing what the adults tell them to do. The role of children in the 1600s was to help with whatever needed to be done. Entertaining so many people for 3 days was a lot of work. What will Remember's 8-year-old brother Bartholomew do to get ready for the harvest celebration?
Huzzah! Well done!
He will wash his hands before eating. The English colonists didn't take a lot of baths, but they did wash their hands before meals.
People from the past are not just people like us, dressed up in old-fashioned clothes. People from the past looked at the world and life very differently than we do. So it's a mistake to think that they would make the same decisions that we would. That's why some of the choices they made are hard, or even impossible for us to understand today.